Hey there, my friends. Coming to you today because I had one last little bit that I wanted to share with you from the recent books I read by Michael Singer. That first was The Untethered Soul, and the second one was Living Untethered. Now, I finished the second one probably, I guess it's been a couple of weeks ago now, and I just had one last little bit that I wanted to share. I'm currently reading. I couldn't, nothing really called out to me again after I finished that second book, so I just decided to read Eckhart Tolle's The Power of Now. Again, I read it a while back, but with my kind of old feeble brain, it never hurts to read something more than once. But anyhow, I'm going to start off with a quote from the book itself, from the book Living Untethered. Y'all bear with me. My iPad is always a little bit slow. Oh, it came up right quick today. This one really grabbed me. I highlighted it in the book, and I've saved it in another couple of places because it just kind of keeps turning over in my head, and it made a lot of sense reading about why things are like they are in this particular sense. But anyhow, the quote is, "Once the energy is no longer blocked and is flowing freely, personal needs are no longer your motivation. Your actions are the expression of love and gratitude for life. Your whole life becomes an act of service." When I read that one, and that one was somewhat toward the end of the book, in fact, I was 94, it was on page 192 of 205, so for me, it just almost, I don't think it could have been wrapped up any more perfectly than for me to read that. And it really sunk in. I'm going to read it one more time again. "Once the energy is no longer blocked and is flowing freely, personal needs are no longer your motivation. Your actions are the expression of love and gratitude for life. Your whole life becomes an act of service." It's just like that once that energy starts flowing through you. And when I'm talking about energy, I've got I was looking around last night, I was doing some reading, and I found a little piece, and I'll share the link to that one, that that helped me to kind of give an explanation of it. I get it. It didn't really give me any more of a deeper understanding of it, but it helped me to be able to kind of explain it to you a little bit. So I'm going to read it. It's not too long. Hope y'all will bear with me. It's what these blockages are when we're talking about the energy flowing. It's not flowing because we have blockages. And the word Michael Singer uses is from Indian philosophy, kind of an expression called samskaras. Those are the blockages. And she goes, or I think it's she, I forgot. I'll have to scroll down and see who the author is. "It's interesting how a single event can shoot the gates up around our hearts instantaneously, and the choice to play the old records in our mind shifts into automatic. Entire albums even, over and over again, stuck on repeat. We sometimes work really hard to throw out those old records, narratives, stories, convincing ourselves of their untruths, and we attempt to rewrite new, more compassionate songs, in hopes to slowly allow the gates to be drawn in order to feel again, to love again, and to live in peace, to open our hearts. However, when an event occurs that calls us to revert back to what we thought we released, we know there is more to unearth, more to learn about ourselves and who we are, more to grow and transform. We are never finished releasing. We all carry deep pain in our hearts and souls, all of us. It's an open secret, Rumi calls it. The human behaviors we display and probably are not very fond of are a result of that pain. The workaholic overworks because his father told him he'd never amount to anything. The alcoholic drinks to numb the pain carried from a high school coach who instilled the belief that he was just not good enough. A teenage girl exercises obsessively to block the pain of the words of a boyfriend that said she was gaining weight. An angry boss yells because in his childhood, he was expected to do things right, and if not, punishment followed. Whatever the undesirable behavior is that we unconsciously display, it's rooted from pain. We even tend to live out this story, these lies. The wonderful gift that we humans have been given that no other animal species has is to be able to go back to that pain, feel it, acknowledge it, release it, and then find a new truth. This is how we rewrite our stories. We can reopen our heart to others this way and change our behavior, rather than to live with a blocked heart, a stuck flow of energy. Michael A. Singer in The Untethered Soul, The Journey Beyond Yourself, writes that energy that comes into us has to keep moving. He tells us, long term, the energy patterns that cannot make it through you are pushed out of the forefront of the mind and held until you are prepared to release them. These energy patterns, which hold tremendous detail about the events associated with them, are real. They don't just disappear. When you are unable to allow life's events to pass through you, they stay inside and become a problem. These patterns may be held within you for a very long time. We are either trying to push the energy away because it bothers us, or we are trying to cling to it because we like it. When you resist that release, the energy gets packed up and forced into a deep storage within the heart. In the yogic tradition, it's called a samskara. These samskaras end up running your life. If they build up sufficiently, you will find yourself in a state of depression. Eventually, everything appears negative because the world of the senses must pass through this depressed energy before it gets to your consciousness. Even if we are not prone to depression, it builds up over time and gets blocked. This affects how we live. Singer shares in his book the process for releasing these blocks or samskaras, and it's quite amazing. Imagine these blocks in your heart as thorns. Visualize them penetrating your heart and protruding all the way to the outside of the body. They stick out. Whenever someone, something, or an event brushes up against a particular thorn, it hurts. That samskara is being disturbed. You have a few choices when this happens. Well, first, you can prevent it from happening by avoiding any situation that might disturb the thorn. If we do this, though, we are not living to the fullest. We are living in fear. What Singer suggests we do is to be centered, conscious enough to recognize when a thorn has been disturbed and just watch the stuff come up. Be aware of it, accept it, and then let it go. This sounds easier said than done. He tells us, just relax your heart, laugh, shift to gratefulness, do anything you want, just don't push it back down. It's going to probably hurt, but hopefully not for too long. And then it's over. You've let it pass through you. The process happens over and over all the time. The result is a constant open heart that allows the energy of love to flow. You live in love, and it feeds and strengthens you. This purification is a wonderful thing. How do we start? It starts the moment you accept what troubles you've been given. Acceptance. That's a very powerful word, acceptance, not resistance to them. It starts when we shift to gratitude rather than to dwell on the wrongness of a situation. There is a secret treasure that lies waiting for us at the bottom of our most difficult times. It starts when we recognize that everything that happens is not happening to us, it's just happening. It starts when we let go of the expectations of what we think our lives and others' lives should go like. It's a journey of a lifetime. Every shift in our life comes courtesy of the friendly forces. Every catastrophe can hand us exactly what we need to awaken into who we really are. It's a lot easier to blame someone else, to rail against fate, or to shut down to the hopeful messages carried on the winds of change. Please forgive me when I say that everything that happens to us in life is a blessing. Whether it comes as a gift wrapped in happy times, or a heartbreak, a loss, or a tragedy. It is true, there is meaning hidden in the small changes of everyday life, and wisdom to be found in the shards of your most broken moments. At the end of a dark night of the soul is the beginning of a new life. Yeah, I just thought that article was, I wanted to share something. I wanted to share that quote directly from the book, but I just like that, when I was reading that, I said, yeah, that she really explains it well, puts it into terminology I think most people can understand. And yeah, those are just some of the things that I work on. I try to work on myself a little bit every day. Recently, in the last week or so, I've made a conscious effort, after talking about it a lot, to up my meditation practice a little bit. I've recently been practicing in the morning first thing, and then again in the evening. And I highly recommend those morning meditations. There's there's just a different quietness in the morning within yourself than there is later in the day. So anyhow, hope you guys enjoyed that. I will link that article below in case you just happen to want to read it again or save it for future purposes. So y'all have a beautiful day, and I'll see you here again in the next few days. Peace.